Bonjour, bonne fête. Ok. Bonjour, bonne fête de travail. Happy Labor Days to everyone, especially people who are working. And so we are going to have our workshop today concerning, how do we call it, artificial intelligence. So I'm going to switch in French because at Afrologix, we are also bilingual. Alors, le webinaire que nous allons avoir dans quelques minutes, quelques secondes de temps pour moi, sera modéré par une femme. Bien sûr que je suis une femme qui est introduite. Alors, je ne vais pas longtemps épiloguer sur Danielle. Pour ceux qui ont vu l'annonce, il y avait un petit lien YouTube qui nous permettait de découvrir qui est la personne. Elle est full stack développeur. Dans ses compétences, il y a beaucoup de choses, il y a beaucoup de codes. Je sais également qu'elle n'aime pas trop quand on parle d'elle, mais bon, tout seigneur, tout honneur, c'est une des pépites d'Afrologix. Elle a beaucoup de casquettes et est surtout passionnée par tout ce qui est web développement. Donc, sur ce, je vais laisser le soin à Danielle de nous parler des bons et des mauvais côtés de l'intelligence artificielle. So, Danielle, you have the floor.
Thanks, Mrs. Beth, for handing me the floor. Good afternoon to everyone and welcome to this workshop. Now, our workshop of today is going to be under the theme Artificial Intelligence, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So now, let's go to the summary of our workshop of today. As a summary, we are going to have the history of AI, the general presentation of AI, the good of AI, the bad and the ugly, artificial intelligence application, and we'll leave the session for questions and answers. We are going to start with the history of artificial intelligence. The idea of machine learning that things date back to the ancient Greece, but since the event of electronic computing, important events and milestones in the evolution of artificial intelligence included the following, leading us to artificial intelligence. We have in 1950, we have Alan Turing, which published a computing machinery and intelligence where the code of WW2 process to answer the question that was under can machine think? That was the main question that we had in the book, and it was also introducing to us to determine if a computer can demonstrate the same intelligence as a human. Also, we had in 1956 John McCarthy who coins out the term artificial intelligence at the first level of AI conference at Detmond College, where some other who later joined him was Ellen Newell, G.C. Shaw, and Herbert Simon, who created Logic Stories, the first ever running AI software program as follow. We also had in 1967 Frank Rosenblatt, which builds the Mark I perceptron, the first computer based on neural network that learned through trial and error. We'll explain more about that in our workshop. You best understand all these terms, all these AI terms. Also, like just a year later, Marvin Minsky and Simon Perk published a book titled Perceptrons. In 1980, we had also the neural network filtering backpropagation algorithm for training the neural, which became widely used in AI application. So in 1997, we have IBM Deep Blue Beats, then world chess champion of Gary Kasparov in a chess match, and he also rematched. And in 2011, we had EBM Watson Beats champions by Ken Jenny and Brad Rutter. Now, for these earliest days, we had in 2015 They do meanwhile supercomputer use a special kind of deep neural network called the convolutional neural network to identify and categorize images with a higher rate of accuracy than the human. And in this latest 2016, we had Deep Minding by AlphaGo program, powered by the Deep Neural Network, Bitly Sodu, the world champion God play, which was in the five-game match. If you all remember, this was a which was later on purchased by Google. So now we go to the general presentation of AI. So now when we talk about AI, everybody may be thinking or maybe asking himself like, what is artificial intelligence? What is AI? So in computer science, the term of artificial intelligence refers to any human-like intelligence exhibited by a computer robot or another machine. So the popular uses nowadays we can refer like the ability of a computer or a machine to mimic the capabilities of the human mind learning, for example, and experience recognition object, understanding and responding to languages and decision solving problems and combining this and other capabilities to perform functional and human might perform such a great such as like let me take an example greeting a hotel guest or a driver of a car. So like you can make a machine having that behavior of greeting the driver or any hotel guest. So now also we have AI is a completing it's computing our words as we type them. Like if you have nowadays in smartphones, you can realize that if you want to type maybe recommendation, just while you're typing recom, like there's an auto completion of the word recommendation. This is also one thing that AI like accomplish or helps us to do. So now also AI can help you in maybe like driving applications, you're in car, you want to know your way, you want to go somewhere, like AI helps you to do so. So now, as common as artificial intelligence is today, understanding AI and AI terminology can be difficult because many of the terms are used interchangeably, and why they are actually interchangeable in some cases, but they're not also in some cases. So now, what is the difference between artificial intelligence and machine learning? These are some of the questions that all the time it repeats itself. We want to know also the difference between machine learning and deep learning, between speech recognition and natural processing, between weak AI and strong AI. Now, this workshop actually will try to help you to sort through this and to help you to know the good, the bad, and the ugly of all that. Now, the types of artificial intelligence. We have the narrow artificial intelligence or the weak artificial intelligence. Now, what is it? What is this narrow artificial intelligence commonly called or weak artificial intelligence? This is an AI trained and focused to perform specific tasks with AI which drive most of the AI that surrounds us today. So this is a rule, how can I say? This is actually a machine which works under a rule like configurated pattern. Now, this narrow is more accurate description of this AI because it is anything but weak. It enables some very impressive application, including Apple Siri for all those that are using Apple phones or even Apple machines, Amazon Alex, the IBM Watson computer. There's also Google Assistants. All them uses the weak AI. So now the other type of AI we have artificial general intelligence or strong AI. What is it? it is more fully replicate of the autonomy of the human brain. When we are talking about strong AI, here we are talking about a machine who will behave or who will do things as if he's a human. So than the weak AI, which is like basing himself under the rules or the algorithm that we have given it before. So as from the algorithm, like it processes to be more better or to find a rule that is more wiser. For the strong AI, actually, it wants to represent, actually, it makes the mimic representation of the human brain. So now, strong AI is still entirely theoretical with no practical example in the which is used today. But it doesn't mean that the AI researchers aren't also exploring wiring artificial super intelligence, that is ASI, which is the artificial intelligence superior to human intelligence or its ability. Now, an example of ASI might be the Hall, the Superhuman, or eventually Roger Computer Assistance, which was being out in 2001 as a space odyssey. Now, we'll talk about the relationship that exists between artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. In our case, the easiest way to understand the relationship between this artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning is that, firstly, what we need to understand is that when you are talking about artificial intelligence, um, as the entire universe of computing technology that exhibits anything remotely resembling a human intelligence, that is, it is like the representation or it is like remotely resembling the human intelligence in a way that AI system can include anything from an expert system, a problem, a solving application that makes decision based on complex rule or that are can be logic to something like equivalent to a fictional Pixar character. So now, whereas machine learning is a subset of this artificial intelligence application that learns by itself, it actually reprograms itself as it is as it subjects, as it digests, in fact, as it gains more or as it gets more data to perform a specific task which is designed to perform it increasingly. So now we have also the deep learning, actually, which is a subset of machine learning application that teaches itself to perform a specific task with increasingly greater accuracy without human intervention. So now we can divide this. More talking also about artificial intelligence. One of the aspects that in this workshop I'll more base myself on it is about the fact that artificial intelligence in simple word can just be said as a superhuman pattern recognition machine. Like when we talk of artificial intelligence, we should just put in our mind that that's a pattern recognition machine. So they're bringing us to the question like, what can be this pattern recognition machine? Like, in which way does this pattern? In which way do we see a pattern in everything we do? We can take an example from a phone call. Just a voice is a pattern. Like when you're talking, it's just like following a frequency that is a pattern, and the AI based ourselves. So from the differences that we get, we can see that machine learning, we can see that actually artificial intelligence is a subset. It's like the big dad, like they say, the super daddy. Machine learning is like one of the child of artificial intelligence, and deep learning is the grandchild, which is the child of machine learning. So now we'll go to the good of artificial intelligence. So AI would have, when we are talking about this AI application, we are talking about AI machines and everything, it is producing, we can take like an algorithm that will recognize a handwriting. You know now you know that in general people have different type of handwriting. The handwriting at a particular moment, somebody is writing look, but somebody in his own way can look at it and say no, it's not look, it's like, or it's not look, it's view. So now if we are using like an AI application for us to be able to like understand what was the meaning of what is the word that the person wrote, we'll have less error compared to if we want to look at the human eyes to say no, this must be look, this must not be look. So this is one of the good things that AI brings. But to know, actually AI, how can I say it? In fact, today, like people are more. One of the things that people forget is that we can like overestimate like what AI is doing, but we underuse what AI can give us. Like, let me explain myself. Mm, we tend actually to overestimate what AI is capable, and but we underestimate how it can be applied. Let me take an example. We can be having a voice. We can like you're getting my voice now. That's me. With your who human ear, you say yeah, that's me. But now AI helps you like to recognize my voice to be sure that no, the person talking, yeah, she's the one talking. It can help you to do that. But as in a human ear, he can listen and say, no, I'm sure she's the one, or others can say, no, that's not her voice, it's somebody else talking. So like we tend then to be looking at maybe AI will maybe call like only with AI you can destroy like a whole building just at hand. We should instead concentrate ourselves to how to apply AI to benefit from AI, to gain from AI than to overestimate what AI is already doing. Now, also it can they won't be affected. Machine AI, machine learning, all that won't be affected by the hostile environment. Thus, they're able to complete dangerous tasks, exploit in space, and injure problems that will injure or kill us. This even mean mining and digging fuels that will otherwise be hostile for human. They replace human in repetitive and tedious tasks and in many laborious places of work. They can also predict what a user will type, ask, search, or do. You can see that from your different smartphones that we are having now. They can also detect fraud card based on system and possibly other systems in the future, organize and manage these records. Also, they interact with human, entertain, or it tags as avatars or robots. An example of this in AI for playing mini video games and robotic pets that interact with humans. Also, now this can be for medical purpose, such as health risk and emotional state. So they can stimulate medical procedure and give info on side effects such as robotic radiosurgery and other types of surgery in the future can achieve precision that human can. And also they don't need to sleep, rest, take break or get entertained as they don't get bored. So now, in every good thing, there's also the bad thing of it, and that's what we are going to talk about now. Now, talking about the bad and the ugly thing of AI, firstly is it can cost a lot of money and time to build, rebuild, and repair. Robotic repair can occur to reduce time and human feeding to fix it, but that will cost more money and resources. Also, it is also questionable in the fact that it is ethical and morally correct to have androids, human-like robots, or recreate intelligence, a gift of nature that shouldn't be created. This is a discussion about AIs that is very popular in in today. Now, robots with the replacing of jobs can lead to severe unemployment because, like, if we base ourselves like robots trying to help us, trying to be there to maybe help us in tedious activity, in tedious work, we find ourselves like looking for employment, like we find ourselves unemployed because everything that we have to do, robots are doing it for them. So now we also see as smartphones and other technology, like human can become very dependent to that. Nowadays you can be seeing 16 people, like 6 people sitting around a table, but all of them are on their smartphones. If you ask yourself, how are they discussing? How are they talking? How is my friend beside me? How is she? But you're concentrated in your virtual friend that you're having in your phone. You're talking with your virtual friend in your phone, but your physical friend that is beside you, you don't offer a word. Or the food that is in front of you, are interested in snapping the food than to eat the food. Also, like, it can, this machine learning can really lead to any disruption if it falls on like not in good hands. Like the hands of the people that are using it can do bad or do wrong with it. And also that will leading to a particular law. We are going to talk about deepfake, which is a technology that can be used to make people believe something which is real, whereas it is not. We are going to take an example on this video that makes a burst under was the Pentagon's house, where we thought that it was the president of the United States talking, whereas he wasn't the one, and it was this person that you see at the left the right that was talking actually, but through deep fakes, with we couldn't really see it. So we'll continue with artificial intelligence application. So now for the artificial intelligence application, we are going to have the speak recognition, which is also called, we are going to have the speech recognition, which is also called a text STT. Speak recognition. Speak recognition is an AI technology that recognizes spoken words and convert them to digitalized text. Um, speech recognition is Speech recognition is capable. Uh, that is a capability that drives computer dictation software, TV voice remote, and TV voice remote, and voice enabled text messaging, and GPS and voice driven phones answering menus. You also go to natural language processing, that is NPL, which enables a software application, computer or machine to understand, to interrupt, or to generate human text. Then we are going to continue with image recognition, which can also be called computer vision or image vision. We have now AI technology that can be identified and classified objects and people writing. We also go to real-time recommendation, which is a retail and entertainment website which uses a neural network to recommend additional purchase or media, like to appeal a customer based on, like to appeal a customer based on the customer past activity, on the past activity of the customer. So now we have the virus and the pants prevention, we have the automate stock trading, and the right set services. As application, we can also have the household robots and the autopilot technology. This has been flying commercial and military aircraft for decades. Today, autopilot uses a combination of sensor, GPS technology, image recognition, collision avoidance technology, robotic and natural language processing to guide an aircraft safely through the sky and to update the human pilot as needed depending on who are asked. Today's commercial pilot spend as little as 3.5 minutes manually piloting a flight. So now these are some useful things that you can use to have more documentation and to like to make more researches. So now we are open to questions and answer if there is any. Um, okay, so now we'll talk about now we have come to the end of our workshop, and also we are offering some training which is going to start at the begin at the Saturday the 15th of May. Saturday the 15th of May. Saturday the 15th of May, and also is for all those that are interested in doing big data, and also we are also have going to have the training for DevOps and for Spring Boot developers. So you guys are all welcome to the training. We have come to the end of our workshop. We want to thank everybody who assisted to the workshop, and we, like we say, we are like thankful for you guys to be there, for you guys to have heard and to have been participating, and you guys should spend a good day and enjoy your day. Thanks.